Peace and welcome to another episode of Artistry, where art meets industry. We are your hosts, Rochelle Etienne-Robinson and Stan Substantial Robinson. Season 3 of Artistry is powered by Words, Beats, and Life. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of Artistry, where art meets industry. We are Rochelle Etienne-Robinson and Stan Substantial Robinson. How you?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
Good. We have a great show today. But first, we just want to let you all know, for those of you that follow us, welcome back. For those that are just joining us for the first time, welcome. We are a husband and wife duo, have our own business called Substantial Art and Music, and we will be hosting this week an event at BlurredCon called Sketchpads. So those of you in the DMV area, please feel free to join us at BlurredCon for all things blurred. If you're interested in manga, if you're interested in comics, if you're interested in anime, if you're interested in
Video
games.
yeah.
We have a great program in store for you called Sketchpads, where we will have a visual artist partnered up with a beat maker.
Yeah, so I'll be on the beats doing a live beat set, and then we got the homie Julian Lytle, who's worked with DC Comics. He's worked with Ava DuVernay, and a host of other things, accolades under his belt. But basically, I'll be doing a live beat set while he's creating live art. And then we'll also have cosplayers who will be acting as figure models, and we'll have free art supplies and all of that just kind of around the room. So you can come through, enjoy the art and the music, or you can make some art, or you can just come through, grab some free supplies and dip, But yeah, come through, enjoy yourself. It's going to be awesome. We'll have more details soon. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that information. All right.
All right.
So let's talk about who we got today. I'm excited.
Today is, if you saw last episode where we had our dear friends Nicole and Adrian, we just want to piggyback off of that and continue with the goodness.
And when you say goodness, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about food.
Okay, I got to make sure now. I got to make sure.
I'm talking about good eating.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, see, talking about eating good food, you got to be specific.
Good food.
Can't get canceled around
and
here.
You can't.
We got sponsors.
And you can't have good food without a great chef. And
Absolutely.
So today's guest is a first for Artistry. We want to explore the culinary arts. And with that, we have our dear friend and family, which is another first. My cousin, Mr. Chef JB, is in the house.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
What up, cuz?
Peace. Welcome to the show.
And that's just slang, folks. This is like real. Like, he's my blood. He's my blood. Blood of my blood.
That's what's up.
See it,
Welcome to the show, man. We were so excited because, with Artistry, we try to talk about all industries dealing with the arts, whether it's performing arts, whether it's literary arts, whether it's culinary arts. So we want to make sure that we represent for all. And so I was so happy to have you join us today. With everything that's been going on these last several years, dealing with COVID in particular, I wanted to, as we asked all of our guests, because this show again was birthed during COVID, at the height of COVID. And so how have you been during these last 2 years navigating through COVID and everything else that life has thrown at you?
I mean, in all honesty, in the beginning, it was hard, of course, like for everybody else. But as humans, we adapt to things and we learn new ways to go about our lives. And that's kind of what I did during the time of COVID, expanding the things that I do, learning new parts of my craft that I never knew I knew how to do. So,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to just jump in and get started on, your background and your creative journey. So you are born and raised in Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York, the only Brooklyn, right? That matters. Tell us about life growing up in the city. What was that like for you?
Interesting, to say the least. It's like you see a bunch of different people, a lot of different cultures, and that says a lot about how you are when you grow up. You'll see everybody from like Hispanics to Arabics, Asians, everything in between. So we're all in like one area, and you learn about a little bit about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. And your experience was unique. I mean, you just mentioned people from different cultures, but also what makes your experience unique. Like everyone knows, if you've been to Brooklyn, then you know that there's a large West Indian population, and with your parents being from Haiti, like what made, not just your experience in Brooklyn, but the Haitian experience in Brooklyn. Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
So the Haitian experience in Brooklyn is dope because depending on what part of Brooklyn you go to, the Haitian food is a little different. The culture is a little different. It's almost like as if you went to Haiti. So I'm gonna give you an example. Like if you went to Canarsie, that's different from the Haitians that are in Flatbush versus the Haitians that are in Bed-Stuy. Every group of Haitians is a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Planet Brooklyn, man.
Yeah.
Planet Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Brooklyn's so big. It's just amazing. Like you can go a certain amount of blocks or drive a certain distance. In certain pockets of Brooklyn, it's completely different from whatever area of Brooklyn you're based in.
Yeah.
So what was your introduction to the arts? First, just like general art, right? Or the more traditional idea of art. And then when was your introduction to the culinary arts?
Okay, so art in general definitely had to be from like a really young age. I might have been like 6 or something like that. I used to like to draw. I was kind of good at it. And then I don't know what happened. I guess that faded away. I got a little consumed with food. I come from a big family. We're always having events. They're always cooking. So the smells would entice me. So I'm like, oh, what y'all doing over there? And they wouldn't let me in the kitchen. My father's always yelling at me, get out the kitchen. So me being a rebellious child, I don't like to listen to anybody. So him telling me to get out the kitchen made me want to be in the kitchen even more. So I guess that kind of fueled the fire that was in me to want to get deeper into this culinary art.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Again, coming from a Haitian background, a lot of folks are not as familiar with, when the people think of Caribbean food, they think of jerk chicken, right? Which is, or roti, if you're from Trinidad or is Jamaica, you have, patties, like you said,
So bun and cheese. What's the joint?
That's also Jamaican.
Yeah,
so Jamaicans they
yeah, that's what people think of. Yeah.
That's what people think of. And with Haiti, you have, and Chef JB, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but with in Haitian culture, you have a little bit of everything because we have a little bit of everything in Haiti. So you have you have Haitians, they'll do pasta, right? Because you have Italian and you have an Asian population that brought those foods there. You have rice. Rice is a very huge staple in our household, and you have, of course, the meats and roasted pork and all these things. So, yeah. It's I'm salivating just thinking about it.
Over here, like, Oh, here we go. I know the rapid fire questions come later, but can I put one out there now?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I feel like we should go around the room. What's your favorite Haitian dish? And go.
Oh God, why you do that?
Well, I'll start. Soup Jumu, man.
Really?
Yeah, soup Jumu. Like I be waiting for New Year's Day.
You like that freedom
all
soup?
year long, that freedom soup, boy. You know what I mean? I'll be waiting for January 1st, I feel like my birthday starts like 6 days early whenever New Year hit. Yeah, soup Jumu, man. You know
really? Well, Juneteenth, we gotta bring it to
listen, why not? That's what we do. We celebrate it twice a year, you know what I mean? We do it for January 1st, and then when Juneteenth come, you know what I mean? That's for the Haitian Americans, bow bow.
There you go.
Right.
What say you, Chef JB? What say you?
Me? Nah, don't judge. No judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's got to be Haitian spaghetti.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like so nostalgic to me because I remember getting home from school and like the woman who was like taking care of my grandmother would make that. In the little struggle fields, spaghetti, hot dogs, a little bit of ketchup and tomato sauce. Fire.
I love it.
Man.
I love it.
Yo, them struggle dishes be the best though, man.
I'm telling you. Oh my God. For me, I have to pick two because I can't just pick one. Of course, it has to be, black rice, du riz avec Dion, and which is basically a black mushroom base, right? With rice, which makes it black. And then, of course, for soup, it would be not soup joumou so much for me, bouillon. Bouillon, which is basically an equivalent of, I guess, a stew. Which has all your veggies. It has plantain, the green plantain. It has spinach. It has watercress. It has celery. It has potato. You name it. Everything is thrown in there. Yeah.
What we doing after the show? What we doing after the show?
We're going to JV.
I mean, look, I might have to hop on that Chinatown bus or something.
Right?
Oh, God. So, JB, what do you enjoy most, and what have been some of your biggest challenges navigating, the your culinary arts?
Yeah. It might be a little bit internal, but self-doubt, feeling like I'm not as good as the ones that are out there, realizing that there are people that do it better than me, but in reality, we're all in our own lanes. Mm-hmm. So learning that was definitely difficult. And getting out of your head and just doing what you know what to do, doing what you love.
Yeah. You talked about it briefly, and I know I skipped over, and I want to get back to that. Mm-hmm. Getting into culinary art school, what school did you go to, and what was your family's reaction when you said, I want to be a chef?
The Institute of Culinary Education out here in New York. And when I told my parents that I wanted to go, mind you, I was in college at the time. So, you got to go to college and finish college in the Haitian family. Mm-hmm. I told them I don't want to finish college. I want to go to culinary school. They looked at me like, no. So, this is what I want to do. Let me do this. And I could prove to y'all that I'm going to make it worth my time and money. Mm-hmm. My dad wanted me to be a construction worker, an electrician, all these things. He wanted me to use my hands because I'm good at that too. But that's not what I wanted to do.
Right. Mm. You know what I find so interesting about that, and it's definitely parents wanting to protect their children first and foremost, right? Especially coming from an immigrant family. But it's so interesting because, as you mentioned, you grew up watching your dad cook. I am a witness and a frequent visitor, right. And got to participate in your father's meals. You know what I mean? And which is, already, it's funny in that world, right? It's the women belong in the kitchen, but I grew up with a lot of men in our family cooking. And right. So to me, it was only a matter of time before somebody came and said, hey, I want to be a chef. Because we were surrounded by food is so much a part of our culture. Mm-hmm. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Shout out. I know we were just talking about your dad, but when it came to Haitian cuisine, early on in our relationship, I remember the first time I had some of Mimi's cooking. It off top, it made me feel like I was having a restaurant level meal in someone's home, right? And then two, I'm pretty sure her mom is the reason why my mom doesn't cook for me anymore, right? My mom just buys takeout and then puts it in front of me, but she does not cook for me anymore. And that's because the first time I had her cooking, first time I had Haitian food in general, I came home bragging so much to my mom. I didn't think I was bragging. She just asked me how I went. And I was like, man, the food, oh my God, Mom. It was crazy. And literally I feel like the last time my mom actually made something from scratch for me was around that week. Bruh, that was almost 20 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah, man. But that's how good what y'all came up on. That's how good it was, man.
Right. But also your mom herself got to, partake.
Oh yeah, she understood completely. I'm pretty sure she felt the way when I was talking about it. But then when they realized we was going to be together and we weren't going anywhere, and she came through and experienced it for herself, forget about it, man. Like, my mom hates steps, but please believe when Mimi invited her over for dinner, she made her way up them steps. Like, she made her way up them steps to get some of that cooking. So shout out to y'all family, man. You know what I mean? Both sides of the family.
Yeah.
You know?
So going back, I know you had said one of the biggest challenges. What have you enjoyed most about being a chef?
The various amounts of food. It never stops. There's so many different types of food, so many vegetables, so many cuisines that you could tap into. It never stops, and it's constantly changing. What you can do with food is always changing, so it keeps me on my toes. That's why I like it so much.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome, man. How would you say your cooking has evolved over the years? Like, you know, since you first started to where you are now?
That's a great question. And I'm going to just say it like this. I used to only be able to cook pasta and chicken. Now I could make vegetables taste like pasta and chicken. So
Wow.
just the evolution of food in general has changed a lot for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to get through this episode without like...
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because we really we definitely don't need to eat any more today. Because we literally just ate before we did this.
But
I mean...
Okay, y'all got me talking about food, and I skipped dinner, man. Y'all messing me up right now.
We apologize. We apologize. So the rest of the questions will be about surfing. You know what I'm saying? No more food questions.
Surf and turf.
Surf and turf.
Right.
Right. We covered the turf. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you have in this short amount of time that you've been in the industry, you have worked and continue to work for some notable individuals as well as companies. What has been your most memorable experience?
My most memorable has to be my time with BNC Restaurant Group. This big Southern New American style restaurant group in Brooklyn. They gave me my first restaurant management position. So basically, they're the ones who taught me how to be a head chef, as opposed to just a cook in a restaurant. So my time there, I think I spent a total of 5 years with that company. And just like through like my mentors from there and the owners themselves have taught me so much.
And what restaurant was that?
Oh, that was Peaches.
Peaches, yeah, in Brooklyn. So those of you in Brooklyn, yeah.
Peaches. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peaches was great. I'm gonna pose a question to you. Go off script for a second because, as you know, I do music, and whenever I meet like young people and they find out I do music, first thing they want to know is who I work with, like that's famous. You know what I mean? Because they don't know who I am, so they don't really care what I've done outside of somebody famous. So what I'm gonna ask you is, have you ever had any celebrity clients before? You ever or have like some of the restaurants you cooked at where you were doing your thing, you pop out real quick and then you see somebody notable enjoying your food?
All the time. When I worked with Peaches, we used to do a lot of orders for Most Def. He was a regular at the restaurant, so
now known as Yancine Bay.
I would see him in there. Oh, yo, what's up? Dap him up. Go back to my job.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like one of the times we were there, we
we
bumped into him.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah, so I guess well we talked about some of the challenges of but what do you, outside of the challenges of being a chef, what are some of the advantages to being a chef?
You're never hungry. You're never hungry. I mean, that's cool. And you meet a lot of different people through food. There's a lot of connections made through food. Think about family. What's one thing that always brings family together? It's food. It brings the whole world together. So like currently my job now, I work for a company called Collective Fare. And we deal with food insecurity. So we have a meal prep program that's basically feeding people who can't afford to eat. So say you need a meal or you're just down bad right now, you could contact us. We'll make sure you'll have food for the entire week. You need it for your family as well. Your entire family will get food for that week, and then we'll keep going
Wow.
until you're in a better spot than you were.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's really dope. I think what's also really cool about that, I think sometimes, some artists, different types of artists and different people in general, you look at the skill set that you have and you see things happening in the world and you're trying to figure out how you can use your skill set, how that can actually help to make things a bit better. And so it's really dope. Of course you're doing a lot of what you love. And so there's a lot of pleasure you get out of doing that. But then it's also dope to know that any given day you can pretty much utilize those same skill sets to help families in need too. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I was thinking back when we were talking about, again, with challenges and advantages. Walk us through that process of going through culinary art school. Like, what does that first year look like?
So in the beginning, it was very, for me at least, very nerve-wracking because me going into culinary school was just me knowing this is what I want to do. But then there are other people who are older than me, got different exposure to different things than me. So they knew like a bigger variety of food. So they knew different ingredients and like proteins and flavors that I had no idea what they were. So just being like kind of intimidated by other people knowing more than you, it's just like, yo, damn, am I dumb? Like,
yeah, I think was it when we talk about like different types of intelligences, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like you might be pretty sharp at a thing, but when you're jumping into a new profession and you're around people who've lived nothing but this for like 30 years, 20 years, sometimes longer than that, you're just like, bruh, I just learned what A1 sauce was like last week. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got some work to do. You know what I mean?
But it teaches you to have a great respect for the craft, right? Because I think a lot of times people see that, I think with the success of a lot of these reality TV shows, that we see that are all over the place, from Chef Ramsay to all these documentaries and these, these shows and programs that are streamed. What is your opinion on all the celebrity side of cooking that you see now?
I got a funny thing about celebrity chefs. I don't really like them. I'm not a big groupie on them. I think a lot of their food is overrated because it just might not be my style. I'm not gonna say they're overrated. It's just not my style. I prefer the mom and pop shops, the casual places, the whole fine dining, upscale, like celebrity chef thing. I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of them at all.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the biggest like misconception of what it means to be a chef, or like the experience of being a chef? What do you think that people's expectations, like those things that they have, all wrong, or they really don't understand about the profession?
So people think being a chef is just somebody who knows how to cook, but it's so much deeper than just cooking. It goes into how well can you course food? Can you actually like salvage as much food as you can without waste? Can you feed 1,000 people and 996 of them like it? That's what really makes a chef.
Wow. So on that note, I feel like, man, that's a great, we're going to sit there. We're going to sit here, ponder that for a second.
Right.
We're going to pay some bills. We're going to take a moment to go ahead and shout out our sponsor for the show. Alex, don't go anywhere. Those of you watching or listening, y'all don't go anywhere either. Shout out to our sponsor, Words, Beats, and Life. You know, we're going to bring in this quick ad from them, and we'll be right back with more Chef JB. All right? Y'all hold tight.
My name is Saad Walker, and I teach graffiti at Word Beats and Life. When I started doing graffiti in high school, it really helped me in an environment that I just really didn't feel like I fit in. I had just moved to a new high school. I started creating art out in the streets, and it just really helped me express myself. I really feel like graffiti is a great way for kids to express themselves, which is something that all teenagers kind of are really trying to figure out how to do. I think it's really the root of why my classes are popular with kids, but I really think it can transition into a meaningful career or occupation as they get older. And that's why I'm with WBL. Enroll in my graffiti class at wblinc.org/academy.
Hey, and we're back. Wow. I was thinking about that whole, having 960 something people like it. Like, that's no pressure.
But I feel like he said 994, which is, that's even, we're at like 99.9% out here. You know what I mean? Or 99.4%.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure. That's why I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Because whether you paid for it or not, somebody got an opinion about it. Everybody. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're helping families who are down and out, down bad at the moment. Regardless, whatever you give them, what is this? Why is there no black? Like somebody's gonna have something to say. So being able to serve like high quality food, no matter what the circumstances, and have everyone enjoy it, or almost everyone enjoy it. That's a challenge and a very powerful skill to have. Absolutely, man.
So JB, do you feel now more confident in your success? And what was the turning point for you? You were like, yeah, I got this. I got this.
I got a thing that I say I'm top 5. Top 5 everything. So just being top 5, great. You got this. My point when I realized that was when I worked for a Korean restaurant. Well, black boys from Brooklyn working in a Korean restaurant, doing Korean food, learning their culture. And then I started to make specials with Korean influence. And just started to do all these like different fusions that people never really heard of. So I did like a West Indian Korean fusion. Right now I'm doing a Korean dumpling concept with West Indian flavors. So I got oxtail dumplings, I got jerk chicken dumplings, I got fried pork dumplings, I got a little bit of everything. So that's when I realized, I was like, yo, are you top 5?
I like that.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, man.
So what advice would you have for someone who is considering going into culinary arts, and they want to grow up to be, the next great chef? What would you tell them?
To learn as much as possible. Listen very well. Don't think that you know anything going into it. Be really humble and take every lesson that you can.
Yeah. No, that's solid advice.
Yeah. And real quick, I just wanted to tell the folks who are listening to the podcast to definitely come on our YouTube channel. Just look up Sub Art and Music or Artistry on YouTube so you can see these dishes. Because I mean we can hype it up as much as possible, but seeing what these things look like.
Well, you know what, JB, tell us what we're looking at. If you go back. Yeah. What is this? What is that
Okay,
we're
so
seeing?
this is from our meal prep program at the company I work for now. So this is a chimichurri steak with a cilantro lime rice, some shredded carrots, and some snap peas.
I don't
Listen,
even eat meat, but
I
hey,
mean,
that looks.
if I was to come out of retirement, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like this might be the starting point, you know?
So
Yeah, and I think this other thing that we have here is a dessert. What are we? And you know, we got a sweet tooth like the rest of us. So
of course. So this is a carrot cake scone, and I made a snickerdoodle icing to go on top of it.
come
What?
on, son,
Yeah.
hold the disrespect.
And it's so okay. So what we're looking at, folks, is, as you know, is a scone, but it's, so it's a triangle. It's flaky, powdered sugar, and then you said what is drizzled on it? Oh my god!
Snickerdoodle icing. So it's like cinnamon, nutmeg, a little bit of sugar, some milk, nice little icing.
Man, listen, I feel like the school kid in me. I don't care what's under the snickerdoodle icing, son. You said snickerdoodle. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Oh, that looks
man.
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And to go back to this table setting that you have here. So what are we looking at here? Because this looks amazing. You got all the goodness.
Yeah, so another thing that I do, I craft intimate experiences. So I'll do different events. This is a brunch that I did for somebody's birthday. I had a little mimosas on the table, little dipping sauces and stuff. They had some steak and broccolini, had some eggs, some mac and cheese, some little bacon ribbons that I do. I make fresh breads and dips. So all of that was on the table.
Wow.
Oh boy! So of course, naturally, folks are going to be like, okay, enough of the teasing. Where can we find you? So where can folks find you? Where can they partake in all this goodness? What are we doing next?
They can find me on Instagram. I do a lot of personal dinners at Chef JB got it. Or Chef JB _ got it. And DM me. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, prior to us doing this show, we were talking about what's next for you, like what you're working on, what are your plans and stuff. We know that you're working with a company now, but like what's some of your upcoming goals? What's next? What you got going on?
So one of my biggest goals right now is to launch a spice line. Everybody needs good spices in their house to help make your food taste good. So I'm actually naming the spice line after my daughter who just passed away. It's going to be called Lolly Spice. We have about 10 different spices right now, working on doing some more and just keeping up with my my private catering. It's time to branch out, do my own thing, expand my brand, expand my name, and take it from there.
Awesome. So when you with the spices, are we doing dry rubs, liquid? What's it going to
We
be?
starting off with dry rubs, then we're going for liquids, and I also have some sauces that I want to launch out too.
Exciting. Ugh.
Oh, we ready for it, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna send y'all a little care package.
Yeah.
Hey.
Y'all heard it here. We gonna clap it up for that. Clap it up for care packages.
We always like a gift.
We love a gift. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had many a guest on the show. Not all of them bless us with gifts. They gift us their time, and we are appreciative. But those other gifts are also appreciated. So thank you, good sir. We are looking forward to it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're excited for you. So you talked about brunches and doing private catering. Do you have a favorite occasion or holiday that you love to cook?
In a weird way, I'll complain about it every day, but Thanksgiving
Really?
is my favorite for sure because I'm gonna keep talking about the company I work for right now, but last year I think I cooked a total of 300 turkeys.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship with Thanksgiving. That's when I think that was the birth of my spice blend idea. Was last year cooking so many turkeys. I got bored, so I said, let me come up with some different spices for each turkey. Let's try it with the turkeys first and see what happens. And it just kept going from there.
Wow.
That's when Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, Thanksgiving makes sense. I mean, this is where people, whether you're a home cook or, executive chef, this is where you get to hone your skills, right? You get to show off. And of course you have also with so many different tastes. You're dealing with young people, you're dealing with, middle age, you're dealing with older people, different, ethnic backgrounds, a lot of competition. Who made the, especially in the summer, who made the potato salad?
Who made what?
Who made what? So, no, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just over here daydreaming of food, man. Like,
I know, right?
Just like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna have. I don't know what I'm gonna have after the show, but I'm gonna have something. You know what I'm saying? All of this talking, man. Oh my goodness. What are some of your like long term goals though? Outside of like, so we know that you're doing the rubs and the the different spices first, but long term, what's your goal? Restaurant or what?
I want to stay away from restaurant as long as possible. That headache is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to dip into culinary education, specifically for high school kids. So I feel like that's a skill that you need to learn. You need to know how to cook. And when you're out there, you can't eat ramen noodles every night. And, high blood pressure, all that stuff, not good for you. So I think kids learning how to cook is really important.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that too, because that was something I was thinking about earlier while you were talking, is the connection with, I feel like when I learned how to cook like real dishes and real food outside of just warming things up, I felt like I had control over my health, like I feel like I was able to get better control because I started real young giving up certain foods because I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was like 14. And was on medication, the type of medication that they were giving to people who were like 3-4 times older than me. And I felt like as I got older, I was able to get off that medication because I learned how to cook for myself, and I learned how to play around with different seasons and make things that maybe I wouldn't normally eat if someone else was making. I learned how to make those things taste better when I made them. And that allowed me to eat healthier and not feel like I was sacrificing quality or anything like that. So, I mean, I applaud you for taking interest in that, because I feel like if more people knew how to cook and knew how to like better season their food, because I felt, man, this is a conversation we had over the weekend, right? And you jump in, please shut me up if I'm wrong, or just jump in at any moment. But one of the things that I was telling some of the folks, because they saw me eating a veggie burger, right? And this wasn't anybody's veggie, just any old veggie burger. It was one of those Beyond Meat or Impossible burgers. So, it tastes different. And what I pointed out to somebody who was like, yeah, I don't know about those and stuff. But when they saw it cooking, they had all the questions. And what I advised them when they were talking about restaurants and how they've had vegetarian stuff, how it wasn't so good, one of the things I had to tell them, I was like, man, don't ever order a vegetarian dish from a place that doesn't specialize in vegetarian food, because it's not made with love, fam. Like they don't, I feel like when you go to certain restaurants and you order like things that are quote unquote vegetarian, it's just not prepared the same way if they specialize in meats and different things like that. Like, so what has your experience been with that? I know that was super long-winded, but I know you got thoughts, and I know you understand how to properly season things. So I just wanted you to elaborate on that a little bit.
So I agree with you completely. If you don't specialize in it, it's kind of just like a forgotten thought. They kind of like, oh, we throwing it on here just in case somebody come in here, but we don't really do it.
Right.
So I do that now. I work with a lot of vegetables because that's the lane I want to get into. I make them taste like meat. So I'm gonna give y'all an example. Don't drool.
Can't make you no promises.
I came up with a mushroom chopped cheese. So it's basically a blend of mushrooms, like the typical chopped cheese sandwich is out here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's got the little garlic aioli on the bottom and some spicy ketchup and some cheese. But it tastes better, in my opinion, than a beef dish.
Hey, sign me up, man. You need people to test out these things on. You know, we're here.
Our hands are up. Our hands are up. We're
both
raised.
hands. Right? You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Oh man,
that sounds amazing. You know, you had said restaurant is definitely something you're interested in doing. What would you say is the biggest?
No time soon is what he said.
No time soon. Okay. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the biggest misconception? Because that industry is very challenging, right? I mean, we saw it particularly with the pandemic, where a lot of restaurants did not survive. And for many reasons. One, they were probably struggling before the pandemic, and the pandemic really just set them over the edge. You have other places where, the food may be high end and doesn't necessarily travel well. It's not made for takeout, for instance. Exactly. So what would you say are some of the reasonings why you would not want to do a restaurant at this time?
The cost of food, the cost of doing business in general is ridiculous. So I'm running 3 different locations right now, and my job is to control costs any way that I can. So if everything down to paper goods, prices are skyrocketing. Yeah. Protein prices are high. Everything is just high. It just costs way too much to do business. That's why I want to stay away from it until we get past this.
Yeah.
Not to mention gas.
Right.
Can't even drive to get the stuff that you need without feeling like, should I really drive this extra 2 miles?
Right. It really is a domino effect. Like, I think if we learned anything during this pandemic, it's to show the importance of everyone and of every industry and how every industry is dependent on another industry. Like you mentioned with driving, with gas prices being as high as it is, that of course brings prices up for just about everything, right? Because if anything's being shipped, whether it's coming by cargo or train, bus, truck, whatever, it's a cost, and that cost gets pushed down to the client, and then ultimately to the consumer. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into these rapid fire questions, though.
So before we I have one more question before we get into the rapid fire. Tools of the trade. We like to know about, since we talk about the industry, what are your go-to tools? I know people have their knives. I know people have their utensils. What are yours?
I got 3 things that I keep with me at all times. I got my Miyabi knife. I've got a black spoon that I don't go anywhere without. And I got a Sharpie.
And a Sharpie.
What's the Sharpie for? I'm curious.
Autograph.
You gotta properly label your stuff,
Gotcha.
I made this on, Tuesday, 21st. All right, cool. Now I know.
That's what's up.
Okay. All right.
Something new.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're going to get to the fun stuff now.
Rapid fire questions.
All right. So the first thing that comes to your head, okay? The first thing. So.
All right, cool.
You want to go first?
Sure. Favorite herb or spice?
Thyme.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, I like that. All right, number 2.
She didn't know what time it is.
You're so corny.
I'm sorry. Try to keep it interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lord. Okay.
Dad jokes.
Number 2. If you could have only one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza.
Oh.
Hey.
Regular New York slice?
Regular New York slice. A little bit of garlic powder, oregano, little red chili flakes. That's it.
Hey, okay.
I ain't mad at
He
that.
a Brooklyn boy. He a Brooklyn boy.
This is one of those things, man. They
If it's done- yeah.
even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you can eat it cold, hot, whenever you want.
Yeah. I've never had horrible pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've had okay or not so great pizza, but there's been times where I've had other foods where I'm like, oh, that was terrible. I'm never having this again. You know what I'm saying? Pizza, I can't think of an experience that was that life altering. You know what I mean? Like in a negative way. That's a good answer. Good.
Okay.
Favorite dessert to eat and make?
Peach cobbler.
Oh, did we have his peach cobbler before?
I don't know, but we need to.
Yeah. I felt like we had some.
Did we have it at Peaches? I think we might have had it at Peaches.
Oh, that's where we had it at. Man, I knew it was somehow connected to you. You know what I mean? Because yeah. Ooh. All right. Good answer. Good answer. Hey, man. Damn, man. We got to eat after this show. My God.
He said, "Good answer." Like this is Family
Good
Feud.
answer. Good answer. And the survey says.
Oh God. All right. So this is a good one. What is your favorite song or playlist to cook to?
Like that.
Jazz Vibes on Spotify.
Okay. Okay.
Dope.
Hey.
Strictly instrumentals. Nice bass. Very relaxing.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Word. And your favorite, well, you mentioned what you keep on you at all times, so I'm assuming this answer is probably going to be one of these two things, one of the two utensils you mentioned. But favorite cooking utensil?
Only one.
Only one.
Definitely my knife.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely my knife.
And what is that? Why that particular knife? And tell us the brand again.
Miyabi. So it's a Japanese company, reliable and very sharp, and they're light, very light. I don't like a heavy knife because you cut all day long. You have a knife in your hand all day long. You don't want something too heavy to like seriously callous your hand that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You want something to glide through the food that you cook, and not something that you got to like work with and like mess your shoulders up, stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't even talk about
The more you know.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had mentioned earlier that you have had, some positive experiences. Is there a particular mentor that gave you some advice that has stuck with you throughout the years?
And what was that piece of advice that you still kind of hold on to?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think the advice that I said earlier: never stop learning.
Never stop. Yeah.
Never stop learning. The job is never done. You're always gonna learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay on your toes and keep moving.
Yeah.
Word.
Awesome. Well, JB, thank you so much for your time. We are literally salivating and visualizing all types of goodness. For those of you that are listening to this, definitely go on Instagram and holla at your boy, Chef JB.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
Yes. Absolutely. But thank you so much, cuz I appreciate you for taking the time. Learned a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
You
man.
know, we support you 1,000%. You know, you're already our top 5, so you ain't got to worry about that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
No problem.
Man.
No problem.
All right.
Best of luck to you. And that is our show, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for Artistry. Next up, we will be meeting with Miss Tamara Jade, vocalist extraordinaire. So
y'all may recognize her from the TV show The Voice. You might have seen her on tour with so many people. Jean-Baptiste. She's performed with Lizzo, and when she was on The Voice, she was on John Legend's team, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, man. So it's going to be a great show, and she from PG County, Maryland. Hey, you already know what it is. Clap it up for that PG joint. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's going to be a great show, and we will catch you next time. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. And don't forget, we will be at BlurredCon 2022. Which is happening July 8th through July 10th. So come out. It's going to be a great time. Come check out our Sketchpads event. I might be hopping on stage to do a little something slight, a little something quick, some bars or something. But definitely we'll be playing the beat. And make sure you come to our table and check us out at BlurredCon. All right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, on that note, we're going to get out of here, get this intro popping. Al, hang around for a little bit behind the scenes. And the rest of y'all, we will see y'all soon. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Peace. Thanks for listening to Artistry, where art meets industry. Season 3 of Artistry is sponsored by Words, Beats, and Life. Visit www.wblinc.org to learn more. This podcast is produced by Substantial Art and Music. For more information, please visit www.subartandmusic.com. You can also follow us on social media at Sub Art and Music. Peace.